where ancient statues stand so tall. With Torrin, Tyson, and Mike at the helm, we dive into Easter Island's hidden realm. Welcome to the Full-Grown Pizza Podcast, where mysteries linger and legends outlast. From cryptids to secrets, our journey is vast. Today we uncover Easter Island's past. So gather round, let the stories unfold. In the shadows of giants, secrets untold. This is the podcast where myths come alive, exploring Easter Island's unsolved lives.
All right, and we are live. Full-Grown Pizza Podcast, episode 25. This week we are going to be talking about the mystery of Easter Island, and Mike is going to be leading us on that journey. So make sure you hit the like, follow, and subscribe button, and leave us your comments on what you think about this episode. And I'm sure we're going to develop our master theory of everything in this episode as well, so make sure to leave a comment, let us know what you guys think, join the conversation. We do keep an eye on the live chat during the episode, so join the conversation.
We do?
Well, we do now. No, just kidding. We do now. I've got it pulled up, so we're keeping an eye on it now. All right, so Easter Island, feel free to take it away. And
all right, first, before we start Easter Island, I want to talk about we actually got an affiliate, so congratulations to us. And so we want to talk about them. It's Ugly Chews, which is as a dog chews for your dog. And one of the great things about them is they're all natural. They don't have any chemicals or anything. They just basically take the skin of a cow, dry it out, and send that to you, and your dog chews on it. They really like it. So if you're looking for a real nice all-natural chew, you don't have to worry about any chemicals or anything, then that's a good place to go in there.
Yep.
Nice.
Like,
They are ugly.
All natural.
They are ugly. You won't want to touch them, but the dogs love them.
Dogs love them. All right, cool. And all that information is in the description below. We've got a link, and we will start building out some graphics and stuff as well to help you guys with that.
Yeah, and you guys go to the link and buy through that site, then it helps support the podcast. So.
Yep. All right, awesome.
All right.
Cool, let's get into it. Easter Island.
Moving on up in the world, so we actually got an affiliate.
Yep.
Nice. All right, so Easter Island goes a little bit off of what we were talking about last week with the ley lines.
Mm-hmm.
You got the first picture up, the Earth ley lines.
Well, I don't have the ley line pictures up, because that was from last week. But
are the ley lines how the Easter Bunny gets around?
You know what? Probably. We didn't cover that because I don't think we had time, and the Men in Black were monitoring that episode, so we couldn't really talk about the Easter Bunny. But
maybe you can do an Easter Bunny.
Probably what's going on. Yeah, right. Yeah.
We have an eyewitness to the Easter Bunny, supposedly.
So, Mike, I have the Easter Island specific pictures that you posted for last week and for this week.
In case nobody watched last week, if you Google Earth line or ley lines for the Earth, you'll see that ley line actually goes through. We have two lines that can join and actually meet up on Easter Island.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because there's a lot of these things are connected by historical sites, so I'm not sure how accurate you know what I mean? Because they try to make it fit the historical sites, but does that really prove there's any kind of worse or anything going through there?
Yeah, anyway, exactly.
It's interesting. This is like we said that the other ley lines line up with the Alaska Triangle, the Bermuda Triangle, the Dragons Triangle, stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you go check out last week's episode after this one, then go check that out. We've got a whole bunch of pictures in there all about ley lines and stuff, and this kind of ties into that episode. So if you want to connect the dots more, check it out.
Stole my thunder.
Well, You're too slow. All right. Okay. Okay, let's get into Easter Island.
Get a word in, otherwise I would have to interrupt people, and I'm trying to stop doing that.
All right,
So gotta wait for everyone to stop talking, and you just jumped in.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so Easter Island lays on one of the ley lines. If you don't know much about Easter Island, it's one of the most isolated islands that people live on in the world. So it's not a very it wasn't an easy place to get to. But you have to give a lot of credit to like the ancient Polynesians, whoever discovered that island. I mean, the ancient Polynesians were crazy, seafarers. They discovered Hawaii, which is in the middle of nowhere. A lot of little islands that they took over, or civilized, or what is it called?
Yeah, they kind of civilized them. They built communities and stuff there. Yeah.
But I mean, you got to give it to the Polynesians because they were. I mean, all they had was those little canoes, and basically didn't know where they were going, and just knew how to get around and how to survive out there on the ocean, which is, I mean, the Pacific Ocean has some crazy storms and stuff like that.
I want to know, I want to know how that got started. Like, was just some like islanders or some people there? They were just just go. We don't know what's out there. We don't just go, and all we got is this little canoe.
Moana, the ocean called to them.
The ocean told them.
But can you imagine? You got a little tiny canoe. You're basically going out in the middle of nowhere, and you're bringing your whole family with you. And you're like, we'll find an island. It'll be fine.
Hey guys, I got an idea. Let's go on vacation. Like, all right, where? I don't know. Let's figure it out.
We'll find out when we get there.
The kids.
I'd be doing that right now, just driving. It's like, I'm gonna drive until we find something.
I wonder if that's what happened. I wonder if it was like, you know how when you're in a bad mood or whatever, you're like, I'm gonna go for a drive. They probably were just like, I'm gonna go for a boat ride, and then he got hooked into the current or whatever, and then just kept going, and then he was like, holy crap, we just landed on some island. I guess I gotta make it work, and then
But he also took his whole family.
Yeah, took his whole family.
He was just like, fuck this island, we're leaving. Like, where are we going? That way. What's that way?
No, that way.
If I know, let's find out.
Let's find. Yeah, I mean, at that time,
it's an island volcano. We're gonna call it Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, you just gotta give it to those guys. They just had that's just. I wouldn't even try it.
To survive the journey and then to also build your civilization there, it's pretty incredible.
Exactly, and then I guess they'd be able to go back to the mainland, so they had to be able to navigate it was just insane that they did that in those little tiny boats. And those things aren't big.
They use the stars.
Exactly, but I mean, a little tiny canoe, and you just barely pack as much water as you can and hope for the best. So
yeah, wow, pretty
That's
amazing.
Like a leap of faith too. Just like, all right, I'm going this way. I got stuff for 7 days. Hopefully, I run into something.
I know, yeah. Because I mean, what if I don't know? The guy probably
it probably has to be like a point of no return or a point of return.
Right.
All right, we're 3 days out. We got 3 days to go back now.
Yeah, exactly. I bet the dude probably lost his job or something. He was in bad standing with the community or whatever. Nobody liked him. He was like, well, I got nothing to come back to, and my family's already screwed because nobody likes me. So I guess we're all in the same boat together. Here we go. So
literally, they are all in the same boat together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
tell us more.
These Polynesian explorers found this island, Easter Island. It's not a very big island. It's only, I think they said it was 63 square miles.
Okay.
So that's not
that big. Yeah.
And it was a volcanic island. Do you have a picture of the aerial view?
Let's see.
Oh, that's what it looks like. It looks like a bird.
I got a map. Is that what you're looking at for? That one?
No, it's
Did I pass it?
Yeah. I thought you guys had an order to this.
Nope. I asked for an order.
I put it in the text channel. I guess you didn't see it.
You didn't give me an order, I don't think. You just said you were going to talk about them. Right?
Okay, whatever. Everybody knows what Easter Island
looks like.
Like.
This one right here?
Yeah.
That's what Easter Island looks like.
Yeah, this is what Easter Island looks like. We got big statues all over.
Yeah.
Big heads.
And like a lot of people say, they talk about the statue because they're crazy that they actually did that and they would move them around. And
Yeah.
And one of the things that most people don't know about Easter Island is that there's not a lot of trees there because of the way it's the volcanic soil, and they used up all the trees like building fires back in the day and stuff. So they didn't really have any way to repopulate them. So I mean, that's one of the main theories that makes it so hard to describe how they moved the statues because they had no logs to roll them on.
Right. So what they do?
So. That's what the mystery is, that how did they get those big statues moved around? And I mean, they were huge statues. Like the tallest one they found is called Paro, and it's 82 tons.
82 tons? Oh
82
my god!
Tons.
I have a theory. The stone was already there, and they just carved it into the stone. You don't have to move anything. There's a whole bunch of fucking stones. They're like, let's make a whole bunch of statues to fuck with people later.
There'd be some really big stones, though. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they're on a volcano.
Yeah,
but
true.
You can see where they got them from. They have some still that are half buried and half formed.
Huh.
So, I mean, that could be a possibility. Maybe there was like an outcropping there and they carved them down.
But like, what if, okay, so, I mean, what if they...
But you see where it's cut off between, because it's actually standing on a platform, and then it has the statue, the Moai, which is what they're called, and then they got a hat on top of it, which isn't part of the statue.
What's the hat?
So can you think about, they got, you see that picture with the hat?
I thought that was a person.
No,
wait, I thought that was a person hat. Too. Wait.
Some of them have, some of them don't.
Oh, wow.
Do you have a picture of one with a hat on?
Yeah, I have a picture in the, do you have it in the thing?
Let's see.
Sorry, we should have coordinated the picture better, but there's one of the pictures that I sent you.
Jamie, can you do it faster? Oh, there's a hat.
Yeah, so they had they had these platforms they put them on. So you're trying to get an 82-ton statue on top of the
right by the hats.
Oh, I passed it? Which one was it?
Yeah, go next one.
Oh, this one. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like the big cylinders on top of their heads.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Huh.
Those are some heavy-ass hats.
Yeah.
How do you get how do you get the hats up there? Okay, wait.
Exactly.
Are the hats attached or not attached?
No, because some of the statues don't have hats on them.
I know, but what I'm saying is, did they carve a hat into the ones that did have hats, or is it something that they put up there?
It's different kind of stone.
It's a different kind of stone. Okay.
Oh, different stone.
How heavy are hats, though?
Yeah.
So you're taking a multi-ton statue. You're on this platform, which, I mean, there could be a ramp on the side there, but I mean, then it's got its own little platform that it has, and then you're doing all this without any kind of wood.
Well, my question about that, though, is what if they used the trees? What if they used the logs to move all this stuff, and then they ran out? They ended up using the wood for firewood and everything.
Well, one thing about that is that 2 tons. And I can't hear Tyson.
Yeah, my computer's lagging out, so we're all good. It looks like.
Talk about the Men in Black computer.
Yeah, no, we're good on my.
We're getting too close to the truth.
Yeah, everything should be fine. Just keep going.
Well,
it's like no,
I could be wrong.
They figured out they use trees.
If you try to use those, if you try to put 82 tons on top of the trees, it's probably going to crush them.
That's fair.
Especially on trees that aren't very, very thick. Like these aren't going to be very long.
They're not going to be like big, thick logs.
Soil.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like oaks or anything. They're going to be like smaller trees that are. Because this is a windy area, you don't want a thick oak in a windy, or a thick trunk in a windy area. You want to be able to bend with the wind and stuff.
Makes sense.
And then they're not going to be actually very tough either. So they're going to be, I mean, they can be really flexible. Maybe they could do that. But then I mean, there's tons of statues down there.
Even to carve those statues, like that's quite the work. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
For all those.
I mean,
it's very easy.
How big's the community?
Use crystals to make the stones like sand. They're basically like giant sand castles.
Let's see how high the population was of the height.
Yeah, I'm curious. How many people used to live there? How many people live there now?
Oh, just one angry guy in his family.
Yeah, it was just one dude who lost his job, took a boat out to sea, and landed there with his family. He put his kids to work. You know,
like, what are we gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna carve stone statues. You'll see, they're gonna be the biggest engraved stone statues ever, and someone will wear hats.
They're gonna be the best statues.
Yeah, they're gonna be so fucking heavy.
The community was like, no one cares about that. No one cares about your statue making. We're trying to survive here. He's like, no, I'll show you guys. Come on, family, let's go.
It says that when they made contact in Easter Island in 1872, there was 111 inhabitants on there. They said
111,
wow. Before that, they said they had 3,000 to 4,000. So it's not a lot of population.
That's a tiny population, yeah.
You got to consider maybe that's half of those are male.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unless they get the women to do the statue too, I mean, everybody's got to drag it, you know, it's like the community thing that they do, you know. It's time for the natural, you know, the annual statue dragging, you know, festival or whatever.
It's like the Amish raising of the barn. It's like the raising of the statue.
Yeah.
They all get together and raise the statue and carve it out.
I imagine this dude, he was like, all right, whoever else likes statues, who's with me, guys? Come on. There was like 100 people. They're like, all right.
Like that scene from Half Baked.
Yeah. Exactly.
Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?
Come on, guys.
Jane.
Yeah, exactly. Statues,
I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm not gonna like flip out. Just want to know who's coming with me. Who's coming with me to build out some big ass statues?
Oh yeah.
We'll make one each year. It'll be fun. It'll be like a whole community thing. We'll all get together, make a statue, raise it up, and next year we'll do the same thing with this next statue next to it.
Our statues are gonna be a lot cooler than these guys. Come on, let's go.
They're gonna be 20 feet tall and weigh 1,000 pounds with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah. Okay.
And we give them nice hats.
Yeah, they'll have the coolest hats. And then we'll sell the hats at a birch stand next to
We have a
them.
real good year. We're going to put a hat on it. That's why we can market.
Yeah.
All the good years have hats on them.
We're going to market the hats, and all the tourists will come and they'll buy hats. It'll be great.
Like, what's a tourist? It's like, I don't know, but we're doing it.
But it just came to me. I promise you guys.
Not in a dream.
Yeah.
It'll come true.
Exactly.
So another thing you want to think about with these statues is that unless they drag them on their back, they're not very stable. So if you're trying to drag it,
Yeah.
you either gotta drag it on its back and then stand it up, which is not easy, or you gotta take it standing up and then not let it fall over, which is gonna be pretty hard too.
Yeah.
And most of those things are pretty difficult. Why are we going to the pictures?
I'm going back to the other picture that shows the statue better.
All right. So you see how big that is compared to the people.
Yeah, it's huge.
I think that's Pero, the biggest one.
Yeah.
And actually the heaviest one is actually another one called Ahu Tongariki, and that weighs 86 tons.
Wow.
And there was another one that was unfinished and was 69 feet tall and would have weighed 270 tons.
Holy crap.
So why are you building these statues if you have no way to move them? I mean, they got to have some kind of technology that we don't understand. That if you ask the shaman or the historians there, you know,
Yeah.
whenever they ask how they move the statues, they said that they walk there.
The statues walked there. That's what they said?
Yeah, they would walk there.
Wow.
People would let them. I mean, they said they could harness mana, and use it to move the statues, and the statues would actually walk there.
Oh, so they're
It's
golems, not statues.
Yeah. Which is
golems. Cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. So what do you think, like, well, I guess we'll get into it, but I continue. I want to know, like, what your theories on what that actually means are.
Well, I mean, in my head, it's saying that they had another kind of technology that they could harness a power that we don't know about. and they could actually either levitate the statues so they could either walk forward, or they could float them forward. Another thing that's interesting about Easter Island, have you ever heard of the lost civilization of Mu?
Lost civilization of Mu?
Mu, M-U.
No, I haven't.
So this is another civilization that the story of Atlantis could be based on. It was a continent in the Pacific Ocean. I put a picture.
Oh yeah, I have heard of Mu.
Oh, is it the map that you have in there?
It came up when we're talking about Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Lost civilization of Mu.
So that's the civilization. That's the map of Mu. See how big that is?
Yeah.
And if you look at that little arm on the right side there, that's almost where Easter Island is.
Oh, okay.
So they're saying that this civilization of Mu was very they had advanced technology. They were also supposed to be they had telepathy and telekinesis.
Bigger than America.
Yeah, it's huge. What the heck?
It is huge.
Or is it? Wow, where did it go? Okay, so this is like another Atlantis, or like a different
This
Atlantis.
could be the origin of Atlantis.
Or yeah.
So
okay.
If you
Hawaii
think
would
about
be on there, wouldn't
Atlantis could be much older than we think it is, because when we went over Atlantis, we heard that the Egyptians, they had a great their history is actually a lot longer than we think it is, and they had a story that said that this went way back before them.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Like they had ancient history classes in ancient history, Egypt.
Right.
Another interesting thing I saw is that the Mu continent was believed to have disappeared about 12,000 years ago, which is when we believe that
right around
the Dryas event happened, which is when a lot of a lot of civilization was destroyed. That's what basically when we got reset.
Yeah.
So,
that's interesting to consider and to think about, because if we take our whole theory about Atlantis, which is that, the blondes or whatever were a part of that, and they were like using them to help them harness energy and whatnot. If we take that kind of thing, it would make sense that the aliens would have been here like way, 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 way before, right? And they've probably been taking advantage of, utilizing people to help them, do stuff and create technology and whatnot for a long period of time, like well before Atlantis, which I think Atlantis was like 9,000 years ago, right?
So in the ancient alien theory, they said that the Anunnaki, which was the ones that were supposed to have changed our genetic structure to make us, they made us worship them, they made us hungry for gold, and they made us more easier to work with. So they changed us from primitive monkeys to what we are now. And they said that in the genetic structure, if you go back 240,000 years ago, we lost a genome and one of them was spliced together, which is when they believe that the Anunnaki messed with our genetics. So they've been messing with us since 240,000 years ago, according to that theory.
Right. Yeah, so they've been messing with us for a long time, so it wouldn't be surprising that there's this whole continent that, they were a part of, utilizing people there. And then those people, wherever that continent went, let's assume maybe it went under the ocean or whatever, wherever it went, they had to, I'm sure the people that were there had to disperse or go somewhere, or at least some of them, and I'm sure some of them went to, say,
there's
Atlantis.
There's a very interesting story out of the Aborigine out of Australia. They said that they came from Mu, or they had ancestors that came from Mu. And they if you hear about Aborigine, they've been in Australia for a long time, like 20,000 years.
Yeah.
And their ancient stories said that they had contact with Mu or they came from Mu. I can't remember the exact specifics. But that's very interesting that they actually talk about Mu in their history, and that's supposed to be one of the most correct histories. Like they are they make sure that everybody memorizes their stories and tells them over and over again, and they have a very good record of their history keeping. So that's very interesting. They talk about that, and also the Egyptians talked about Mu in their histories too.
So there's
they said that the first queen of Egypt was named Queen Mu, and she is supposed to be a refuge from Mu when it got destroyed.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's interesting in and of itself, because the Egyptian like pharaohs and stuff were often seen as
royalty line went.
Yeah, they were seen as like royalty and like part deity and stuff. And so the fact that they came from Mu, if that had any contributing factor into them being, a pharaoh or whatever, like that would make sense.
Another interesting thing is, okay, so I was listening to that Luis Elizondo on Joe Rogan the other day. And he tells us a story about how they were testing torpedoes, and like when the torpedo got spent to use up all its fuel, they had to go and retrieve them, right?
Yeah.
So they had a guy hanging from a helicopter over the ocean. He's in his frogman suit, his scuba gear or whatever, and he goes down to get. Yeah, some people don't. So
okay.
Anyway, so he's hovering over the water, going down to get this torpedo, and this huge UFO comes up out of the water. He said it was black, round, and the size of a small island.
Small island?
That's
small island.
Huge.
That's huge. Imagine you being that guy on that hanging from a helicopter, and you're seeing this small island lifting up towards you.
Oh my god!
As a UFO.
That would trigger my phobia so bad.
Yeah, I would be terrified.
Like, oh fuck, it's happening.
But another thing you want to think about is that if these aliens actually have gravity technology, like we were talking about, then you don't have to care about how big your spaceship is or what size it is, because you can basically negate all the weight.
Right.
So if you want to make like a mothership and just float it down in the ocean and use that as a base to spread everybody out around the world and, go get all the minerals you want. And then when you're done, you just take off.
That's an interesting idea. What if Mu was just a big mothership? It wasn't actually an island. It was actually a spacecraft that had landed in the water, and this is, okay, here we go, let's start.
I mean, if you got a spaceship that big, that's about the only place you could put it on the planet without.
Yeah, exactly.
Not on Pacific, please.
Right, and then they just took off, and they were like, okay, there it is. That explains why
we got everything we want. I mean, we got these people working for us. I mean, they're going to worship us if we come back, so might as well.
Yeah,
go back to the map and let's look at that. Imagine it as a spaceship.
Imagine that.
I mean, there's some stories of some huge spaceships out there, huge UFOs.
I mean, you got the big circle, you got the big like center of it, which obviously all the functioning stuff is going on. Then you got like these docks kind of on the the east and west.
And it's also huge because you can see like the shadow underneath, meaning there's like it's deep in there.
Well, but then see like the docks are kind of heading toward, like, one of them's going to South America and the other one is going up into Asia, and and then it's already pretty close to Australia. So
really like about this and this whole map thing is it looks like it's a fucking WoW expansion where they just magically put a fucking island.
They're like
there was the island the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there's Mu. There's your expansion area.
They're like,
go
where
explore
can we
it.
fit this? Boom, right there. Exactly.
Next expansion, the Empire of Mu.
The Empire of
Mu. Coming to World of Earth. 2028.
It's the designers of the universe were like, should we put this in? And then they added it, and then they were like, ooh, that was supposed to come out like next patch in like 50,000 years. They had to do a soft reboot.
They had to reboot it like Final Fantasy. We're gonna have Earth Reborn soon.
It makes me think of like
they're not ready for that.
Think of like World of Warcraft real quick, and then so Blizzard's the company who makes World of Warcraft. Back in the day, there was like, rumors they were gonna have the Dragon Isles and stuff back in the original version of the game, and all this stuff, and so all these maps and everything came out. Could you imagine if one of the employees just accidentally like turned on like the Dragon Isles and like when they launched the game, it was just there? I feel like that's what happened. Like it was an accidental
move, but they accidentally left it public.
They were testing it. Yeah, they had it in like the internal test realm or whatever, and they're like playing around with it, and he accidentally turned it on for the live game.
Well, then if you think
like,
about it,
oh crap!
And you had the people on the Easter Island, and they see these. They would see the people with the technology that doesn't care about gravity, and they're moving these statues, and they're like, those statues are walking by themselves.
Yeah, of course.
How else history comes out. the statues walk by themselves.
Right. How else are they gonna explain that kind of thing? Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways,
I mean, if you look at the statues, they're not extremely human-like.
No, they're not. They're very interesting.
Extreme features.
Looking. Yeah. Yeah.
The strange thing is they put them all facing out toward the ocean. Like if you think they're like protectors, they'd have them facing in toward the. Actually, they're facing in toward the island, not facing out toward the ocean. Like they're like kind of protectors, or maybe like overlords or something.
Yeah,
like
are they
that.
like watching something or like making
like
sure
they're
they're
watching
doing
the island? Like they're making sure they're doing their work or something like that, or kind of like they're.
What are
like,
they looking at on the island? Could it be a dark pyramid?
I don't know.
No,
it could be the construction of the Dark
source.
Pyramid. They're keeping an eye on all the people, all the civilization
but there's no, like,
people.
Electricity thing. There's no like telltale signs of the Dark Pyramid there, though.
Yeah,
maybe it's a dysfunctional one.
I think this is like maybe a rocky outcropping that grew on the ship, and then this is what's left over, and so they watch them.
Maybe it's the entry port to Mu, because it's now on Hollow Earth. It's under ocean, Hollow Earth theory.
I mean, it does have a volcano. I mean, it could go down to the Earth.
Everybody starts volcano diving. We gotta get to Mu.
Don't go.
I mean, if you think about it, in the journey to the center of the Earth, they go down through a volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense because if Mu was like the original ultimate mothership to like come down and be like, okay, everybody spread out, start working on all our stuff, our dark pyramids, and start looking for the orichalcum, and you guys go train the humans to like work with us and stuff, and oh crap, you're sleeping with the humans, that's gonna be a problem later, but whatever, we'll deal with it later. And then I can imagine like that's the big mothership, and they're like, okay, once they start getting to a certain point, we're going to go under the ground, down into the hollow earth. We're going to carve out a nice little area for us so they'll never find us, and we can monitor everything from there. And then these statues must have been, maybe that was the original like holding ground, or like one of the places where they're trying to monitor the people for testing, or for like training them to work on certain things or whatever. Who knows?
I've never really had a good theory why they put the statues up. I mean, they don't really know.
Another thing that's like crazy about these guys is like if you look at the statues, they have like really big ears, like long earlobes.
And really big eyes.
Huge eyes.
Yeah, there's like, isn't there like certain tribes that have like gauges in their ears to extend their earlobes because it like reflects their gods or something like that?
Yeah, there's some that do head misshapement, so they could make them look more like.
They have like they extend their heads and stuff.
Well, the whole extended head thing.
He did that shit too.
Yeah. The whole extended head thing, that kind of goes back to ancient aliens and stuff too, right?
Look at those ears.
Yeah.
I mean, the nose isn't the chin. It's like, fine. He's fucking Chad. Got it.
Yeah.
But the ears goes from the top of his fucking head down to fucking... Yeah.
I know.
Okay, so after what we're talking about, I want to bring up the Anunnaki. So if you picture the picture of the Anunnaki.
That the bird?
Yeah, that's the bird guy.
Mothman when he comes back.
Is it this bird guy? This bird? I think there's two bird pictures that I have.
The one I just sent you.
3 birds.
Oh, the one you just sent me today.
Are they? Are they digging down with their butts in the air? Oh, there.
Okay, so this is supposed to be a picture of the Anunnaki. So if you go back through like the records of the Babylonians were big with the Anunnaki. They had a lot of records about them. But supposedly the eagle face is actually a helmet that they use to breathe oxygen.
The aliens.
So that's why they wear
a plague doctor mask.
Yeah. So these are aliens that come from a planet it's supposed to be called Nibiru. It's supposed to be a planet in our solar system. It's got a weird trajectory and it comes around every once in a while. And that's where these guys are supposed to be from. So they're aliens, supposed to be like 7 or 8 feet tall, and they don't wear these masks all the time, but they can. If they want to go like to outer space, they wear the mask, or like to be intimidating, I guess they wear the mask.
Okay.
But they're supposed to be strange. But See how he's holding that egg-like thing? Some
Yeah.
people say it's
Yeah.
a pituitary gland, which is another thing. That's going to another thing some other time, but that's
The god of puberty.
no. Pituitary gland is where you produce, I think, where you produce DMT, and so that's supposed to be the gate of enlightenment. So if you like do a lot of meditation and stuff, anyways, where you get that's another whole other theory. That's
go check out the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm sure he talks a lot about that.
Yeah,
DMT.
So anyway,
I've heard about that from there.
One of the religions on Easter Island is called the Birdman religion.
Okay.
Where they actually go, and there's like a small island off of Easter Island. They climb down this like incredibly high cliff, and they swim down to this other island, and they climb another cliff, and they grab an egg, and they bring it back to the village. And the first person to bring back the village is the Birdman, or that wins the contest. And it's called the Birdman Challenge, I think.
Okay.
I got Nacho Libre flashbacks now.
Yeah, it does.
They give me no powers. They give me no nutrients.
But anyway, if Mu was settled by aliens and the Anunnaki were part of that, then maybe that's where they got this religion from, and they knew the Anunnaki. And
there's so many
that would make sense.
Religions that have a Birdman in it. It just crazy.
Are people with wings?
It seems like there's something to do with wings, feathers, birds. I mean, even you think like angels and stuff like that too. It's like
exactly.
Biblical angels didn't look anything like that. They don't even look like humans with wings. They were like eyeballs with fucking.
There's like a whole bunch of different kinds of angels. Yeah, they're all like named.
The ones with the wings are like called like cherubs or something like that. And they're like a lower class of them.
Yep. And then you've got like the seraphim or whatever, which are like the eyeball wing thingies, and crazy.
But some people say that they're just showing off wings because they could all fly, and maybe they had anti-gravity technology and helps them fly. So
well, you got to think like if you're interacting with an ancient culture and you're flying up in the air and you can't, there's nothing to explain why they're flying. Like it would be helpful probably to have wings just as like a symbol, even to be like, hey, this is, I'm flying.
Or like you're telling somebody else, I saw this guy flying. He's like he had wings. Yeah, like he had wings. So
because they don't even know about floating, right?
Yeah,
like floating in the air.
They're flying, but they don't actually have wings. They have stabilizers. But to a person that doesn't know what the fuck's going on, those are fucking wings.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point too. Yeah.
I mean, like they say, any advanced technology looks like magic. So I mean,
right. I mean, these guys, they don't even know, like, they don't have balloons or like hot air balloons or anything. Like they can't even imagine something floating in the sky. It wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. There's like they got wings. So
ancient like aliens of like talking about like wheels on fire in the sky who is like flying saucers because they don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
So like the closest you try to explain it is the closest thing you can think of what would be it.
Right.
I mean, we did the same thing calling them saucers because that's the closest thing we could think of that they look like.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
So it looks like a fucking pie tin flying saucer.
Yeah. Okay. So
flying cigars, Tic Tacs.
So it seems like, just to kind of, in my brain anyways, wrap my head around everything so far, it kind of seems like that if we were to put this into our big grand conspiracy theory of everything, that the island of Mu, or whatever, the continent of Mu, was the original mothership that came down here with the aliens, and that kind of, from there, the aliens and the people or whatever kind of split off, and Easter Island was near that enough that they, had these, we don't know the purpose of the statues, but seems like they were assisted by or created by these aliens or whatever, and they were all looking at the island for some reason, watching something maybe, but and then so then they've developed some religions and things like that because they were so close in proximity to the continent of Mu. And I like it.
Yeah, and who else are you gonna worship if you see a god, guy flying around? They can do magic and do whatever he wants with,
Yeah.
He can basically make people whenever he wants. Or
that's fair.
I mean, he's gonna be your god, and
That would make
Another
sense.
thing that's interesting is that so this island of Mu supposedly disappeared right before this cataclysm. And like you were saying, they had a bunch of hybrids that they created, and they needed to get rid of them. They needed to cover up the evidence. So
yeah,
who knows whether they knew the asteroid storm was coming or they caused it themselves. And
yeah,
you know, somehow the island just got out of the way in time or disappeared somewhere.
who knows? Maybe the island caused it. You know, who knows? Maybe the
Exactly.
island came. Maybe the island, since it was the mothership, you know, it descends up into the sky and it freaking like rains down missiles or something, right? And it's destroying these. And missiles, they don't know what the you know, they're not going to know what a missile is. So
I mean, if you
a
come if you're at the
rock or
bottom, a
something.
missile and asteroid probably looks pretty much similar, you know.
Exactly, you're not going to know.
Hopefully it's
And
coming from space, so.
right, it's coming from the heavens according to them. So, yeah.
One thing about the younger dryas is that it hit mostly glaciers, so
Mm,
it caused that
yeah.
flood, which is where a lot of people say that you
the
get
floods.
the flood theory. A lot of civilizations have that most of them have a flood story.
I was just gonna say that's like even the island of Mu would be in the Bible because if it did submerge, that's gonna flood a whole bunch of areas, and
Right.
that's basically
That's big.
Noah's flood.
That would make sense, yeah.
So either way,
Well,
if they went down, they'd cause a flood, or if they went up and then threw a bunch of missiles down on the glaciers, that's going to cause a flood.
I got to go back to that map because, man, look at how big this continent is. If that continent went under the water and it caused like a massive tidal wave, if you are talking about a biblical flood and like a global flood, that could cause it, you know, or if it was coming up out of the water or something. Like I think that could cause something like that, you know.
Oh yeah,
like pretty.
Especially
at least
if they don't care, you know, they're not
pretty
taking any
major.
precautions.
Yeah,
That is what they like to call in the paleontology world an extinction event right there.
oh yeah, that would do it. That would freaking do it right there.
And if you're gonna do it, that's the perfect place to do it. It's basically in the center, right in the center of one of the biggest oceans.
Yeah.
Which is between all the land masses, except for Europe's probably pretty safe, and Africa.
But
knows how
it would
big it is.
it would be pretty. Depends too, you know, how tall it is and everything, and yeah, it was pretty amazing. So I think that
Atlantis was like one of the scout ships, and it landed over there in Atlanta.
right,
Atlantis.
yeah,
The Atlantic, and it went under.
yep.
And the mothership was like, all right.
I think Atlantis was basically like one of their like field bases, right? Like they had a base like out in the field. You've got the mothership that descends to the Hollow Earth, and then you've got Atlantis out in the field that's just kind of like doing their thing, monitoring the orichalcum.
It's mining orichalcum.
Yep. And then when they don't need that anymore, they have the flood story that kind of wipes them out, and then
So Atlantis didn't actually go under the water. It raised up and went back to Mu once it was done harvesting all
the
orichalcum.
Yep, that's possible too. Yeah. Okay, so do you think that Mu left the planet, or do you think it went into the Hollow Earth?
I think it probably left the planet. Maybe it left some like you're saying, like a scout ship, like the Atlantis. You know,
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think it'd be a lot harder to take something that big into the center of the Earth.
Yeah.
Rather than a smaller scout ship. It'd probably be a lot easier, especially if you have anti-gravity to take it into space and then just bring it back. You know,
that would make sense. You know, you bring in your giant ship, and then you come down, you disperse everybody out, you get all your plans in order and everything. You check out the planet, see what it's all about, everything, and then you leave.
Make some servants.
You leave a scout ship, or you know, there to continue operations and whatnot, and yeah, and then you have a contingency plan to take care of it once you don't need it anymore. And the Men in Black are the ones that were kind of in charge of that. And they're the governmental agency. They're like, all right, we'll make sure you guys leave everything in good shape when you take off. And then we'll continue to monitor everything from here, you know? Makes sense.
I was going to say, like, if it went under, you would think, like, somebody would, like, find something about it. Like, because we're scraping the bottom of the ocean now looking at stuff.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the picture of the statues where they're dug up, like that's how much sediment had to be like on top of it
Yeah.
Because
So
if
how old these statues
Mu was
are.
there to move the statues, that means it was from there all the way to where it got buried was settlement, and that would have to be on top of Mu, underneath the surface, underneath the bottom of the water.
Right.
And that's how much you would have to get through to actually find any evidence of Mu being down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also the stories of the spaceships underneath the water. It's like, what are they doing down there if there's nothing down there?
Yeah, unless it's just a covert operation thing where it's like, if we
Or unless they
travel under
forgot
the
something.
water, yeah. Or
It's
like
we
we
kind of
said,
left some things.
one of the
Or
other
they're cleaning up all the
theories-
evidence that they were over there.
Right. One of the other theories with Atlantis is that, it was submerged under, it did go under the water, and it's, that's because they're following the orichalcum vein, and they're continuing to go deeper and deeper, into the earth to harvest this resource, and, so I don't know.
I would have to think that like if orichalcum is that important to them, they would probably go down because
Yeah.
the surface is just so little bit of earth and how deep it actually goes
Right.
that if you're still trying to mine it, you definitely go deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that would make sense because then if you take that theory that, there was a flood event that went through the Sahara Desert or wherever that guy was theorizing that Atlantis was, and that it kind of wiped out the place. I could imagine, especially with some kind of gravity technology, you could totally have Atlantis submerge under the desert or whatever, go down, and then have a flood come through and wash everything out, so you don't have any evidence, and it's very, it's a good contingency plan, and the Atlantis is safe now. It's still going under the ground. It's still mining the resources. I think that would make sense.
Said, like this huge flood, which is also probably like an extinction event, is basically everybody's reset, and that's when like human history actually started. So there would be like very little history of actually there being Mu and going underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's only going to be so many survivors, and how many people are going to be talking about it. So.
That's a really good point, because when Mu lands and they start doing all their operations and getting everything set up to harvest orichalcum, and they're training humans and all that stuff and whatnot, at a certain point when Mu is ready to leave, if you don't want the history, if you don't want the people talking about, Mu ever being there, the best thing for you to do is have an extinction event and just, wipe out as many people as you can, so that story can't promulgate. And the people that you trained, maybe you kept them alive. You kept the people that have been trained alive, so they know what they can and can't say, and there you go.
Basically, they got ready to go underwater and just went, no witnesses, and just...
Exactly. That's what it sounds like, yeah.
If you actually go into the Babylonian tablets, they said that the Anunnaki knew that they were going to get in trouble for what they did on Earth. And so they had to leave.
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about that. If that thing was the bird hat is a helmet, and we said that the stabilizers look like wings, and you said that they can use it for intimidation, it makes me think back to like our story about Mothman and how people would misidentify something, they didn't understand what they were seeing. If they saw one of those people with the helmet on, with the red glowing face apparently, and the wings that they didn't realize were stabilizers flying after them, that means that it was explained that is a Mothman.
Essentially.
That's what Mothman was.
That hung out behind, and was like hanging out, trying to help us once in a while.
Yeah, who stayed behind, and he's like the guardian. I mean, they say Mothman is he's like the sign before something crazy happens, right? And so that could be it. They could have one Anunnaki guy here who's just like, look, I'm gonna at least do something or say something or mention something, when something crazy is gonna happen. And it might not be a signal to the people, but it might be a signal to the Anunnaki. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right?
It also links back to it when we said that Mothman's an angel, and we said these guys are probably what they thought angels were.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Mothman, Anunnaki, and fucking they're apparently aliens that are watching us, and
Yeah.
Another
Sometimes
interesting thing is that they said the Anunnaki actually had a way to live forever. They could actually switch bodies. They could make clones of their own body, and then switch. Go.
Well, if you're going to manipulate
go
human DNA, you probably understand cloning pretty well.
Oh, yeah. I bet. Yeah, for
but
sure.
They could actually take their spirit out of their body and inhabit another body, and then get rid of the old body.
And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week with like consciousness and stuff, and having that be, it's not directly your brain, it's like something more than your brain. And if that's true, then there's a way, then we can definitely study it, we can learn more about it. And so I would imagine that the aliens are going to be a lot more educated on that kind of thing. And if there is a way to be like, okay, I'm creating a whole new clone of myself, I'm going to move my brain into that and then connect my brain to my consciousness or whatever, then there you go.
Yeah, this would even connect back even further, like pre-YouTube video podcast, where we talked about the lizard people and how they understood genetics and stuff, and they're in part of Hollow Earth. And if that's a helmet, I mean, they're not going to look like a lizard, they're going to look like a fucking Mothman when they have their outfits on, their suits on.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and that would make sense. Like, if that's a helmet and then you've got a lizard alien that puts on that helmet, it's gonna fit their head pretty good too, right? I would think. Because they got lizard snouts and stuff. It'd fit in the beam section. Yeah.
And if you probably didn't hear the podcast, but they probably come up here every time to check on their babies, which are little goth scorpions.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember how they became the goth scorpions. Scorpions are goth lizard babies, but it came about.
I don't remember how we got there either, but I don't remember a lot of how we get to places on this podcast.
I think I was talking about like how freaky lizard or scorpions are and how alien they are because they fucking glow under UV lights and they can't stand the sun and stuff. They have to stay underneath the fucking in the shade, otherwise they like fucking sweat themselves and they like sweat alcohol or something. It's like crazy.
Yeah, that is wild. Okay, it does. Oh, one thing I was going to mention though, when you were talking about the statues walking themselves, it did kind of make me think about ley lines, because one of the theories behind ley lines is that it was like a rail system or like an energy, like whatever, and that they travel across these ley lines. So what if they use the ley lines to transport these statues, and the people see that? Right, yeah, like some kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, it's some kind of magnetism, right? That's just like,
well, you remember when I was talking about Egypt, how they had a thing that they could spread on top of the stone, and then they could harness the magnetics and move the stones. Maybe they do the same thing.
It could be that too. But then to the people that just arrived on that island, and him and his statue, people that are like, what the, they're moving themselves.
Where's that ley line map? We overlay that with the map of Mu.
That's on,
probably Mel thinks that like that. Ley lines are actually Mu's fucking transportation system that they spread across the world because they've been down there for a long ass time.
There's a center.
I can pull it up.
Made all this stuff. And the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, so.
Yeah. I can find it. Give me a second. You guys keep talking. I'll find it.
We're gone. Oh, I'm back.
I think
Oh, it's because we're not full screen on the freaking thing. Yeah, give me a second. I'll pull it up here. Okay, ley lines.
We're gone. And we're back. We're gone.
Okay.
We're back. Now we're gone forever.
There we go. There's our ley lines map of the world.
I can't really see it, but there is a good point right there on the Pacific next to Japan over there. That's where one of the arm stretches out to.
Yeah.
And the other arm stretches over there. Oh, there's Easter Island right there.
Yeah.
That's like next to the port.
Yeah.
They're probably using those for like energy sources.
There's Easter Island.
You tap into the ley lines and use that for energy, and then.
Well, and look, Easter Island does come across through it's a point right there too. So yeah, that is interesting.
So they have like two main hubs.
Maybe that's why they have the two arms reaching out, so they could grab those ley lines and get out of there.
That would make sense.
So they have two main hubs onto Mu if it was underwater right there.
Yeah. Huh. That would make sense.
I know it's all interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think about the statues walking and how do you think they got in there? You think they use logs?
Yeah, I think we're right.
Aliens.
That's all. That's what I think about it.
Our cameras are still off. There we are.
Yeah, they're back. Oh, wrong button. Yeah, so I think I think that's good. I think we're right on that with the island of Mu or the continent of Mu and having that just mysteriously disappear like doesn't make any sense, you know. Something that massive and big, but then to have some people still be aware of it and you know have some discussions about it like because you got to think
survivors of the
right if the Australian people that you were talking about they knew a lot about it. But then you also have Egyptian people that know a lot about it, and
the queen was supposed to have come from Mu, so
right, and the queen, and like
that's how they learned about it.
So there are historical, you know, things cross culture that people, you know, are aware of, and so I don't know. I think there's something to that, something to the continent existing, or at least something existing.
Have you ever heard of Mu before I brought it up?
I hadn't heard of it, so
that's interesting though, huh?
Yeah,
especially that it disappeared 12,000 years ago. It's supposed to be like they said it was between 36,000 and 12,000 years ago, so it was there for a while. Right.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that's pretty crazy. But then it explains a whole lot of other things too, which is what I really like about it.
Kind of ties everything in together, which is nice.
Yeah, that's like the beginning of everything. I
think it came down like 240,000 years ago, and that's where they started doing all their cloning and stuff, all their genetic experiments. And like we said, that's where their main hub was, and they spread out to all the different sites. They were looking for gold. They were looking for what do you call it? Orichalcum, and other minerals that they couldn't find. Because I mean, our planet's fairly thick with that stuff, but that doesn't mean other planets are. I mean, there's some asteroids out there that are just basically gold. And like worth billions of dollars. Have you heard about this one? It's like a diamond asteroid.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's like
sounds cool.
Basically a big diamond, that's an asteroid. It's worth like $7 billion or $1 trillion.
Yeah, I bet. Dude, could you imagine mining that thing for diamonds?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Diamonds aren't that rare. They just fucking monopolized.
Well, you know what I mean. It's full of precious metals, so.
Yeah. So it would be oh man, no, but I can imagine like Mu is basically. What if Mu is actually a company, like an interstellar company that's just like, you know, plot. We mine orichalcum, that's our business, and then we set down. We're really familiar with planetary like development and all that stuff, so we've got our crew, and we leave them here. They mine all their stuff. They get to the Hollow Earth, mine out all the orichalcum, and then we take off. And so. But Mu is just like the, you know, here we're landing a corporate building here. We're establishing everything, and then we'll franchise it out into these little bases like Atlantis and stuff like that.
You're saying like Mu owns BlackRock.
Yeah, basically Mu. Yeah, Mu owns BlackRock actually. Yeah.
Mu owns the top three, whatever. What is it? BlackRock and two other ones. I forgot what they're called.
Vanguard and something else. Yeah.
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 Mu's the top of the pyramid.
Exactly. Mu owns
the
all
Dark
these
Pyramid.
The Dark Pyramid.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we did it. Wow. We tied it.
Hashtag Joe Rogan. Hey, we already talked about him, but still.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I think that's kind of a funny picture for me to think of. It's like a company just coming here and they're like, yeah, they're probably going to all sorts of different planets all across the universe and doing the same thing. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's that time. What are you guys watching? What are you playing?
I've been playing WoW a lot with you.
Nerd!
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Been hooked on it. It's been fun.
And tell you guys your Twitch, so if anybody wants to watch, if they're not sure about buying WoW yet, they can watch you guys play it and learn a bit more about it.
Yeah, have Tor tell him your Twitch. I'm not streaming currently.
He doesn't stream.
So you don't stream anymore?
Well, I'm waiting on someone to finish creating all my graphics So
you can't wait.
You got one
It's
graphic
forever.
that you can just open up and play your game. You don't need the fucking be right back graphic yet.
Sounds like an excuse to me, Tyson. I'm sorry, but
well, yeah, just kind of. So, anyways, though,
he's not sure how long he can stream because it's kind of whipped.
oh man, yeah.
Oh.
Dang it!
He
All
pulls away
right,
from
you got me.
all the fucking time.
No.
Just like me.
Anyways, World of Warcraft. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm one of those people that has been playing casually on and off for the past like 20 years or whatever, and I'm enjoying this expansion. It doesn't feel like there's, I don't know, with a bunch of other ones, it felt like there was way too many systems and way too many like things that you get overwhelmed, or it feels like you have to do this or whatever if you want to. But this one, it kind of feels more open and like, you know what, if you want to do this kind of content, you can do it, and if you don't, and so I'm enjoying. If you want to
play solo, you can.
Yeah, I'm enjoying just
play with anybody. Go for it.
Exactly, I'm enjoying just kind of playing and doing my own thing.
He's addicted to delves. Every time 10 minutes, like, you want to do a delve? It's like, no. Like, let's do this delve.
The delves are
like,
fun.
No.
They are pretty fun.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So like, then I asked him to do a delve. He's like, no, I'm doing this a world event. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes.
Have you guys grouped up with the bots a lot, or can you tell they're good bots?
Oh, the followers?
Yeah.
People complain about the tank. He pulls too much.
Oh, dude, there was one real quick. Got a comment here. It says it's a much simpler time on a 56K modem when a Warcraft raid was on MSN Messenger. You're totally right. Yeah, back when everybody was lagging and you had like 2 FPS and a raid took like a week basically. Yeah, no, yeah. I agree. I agree with you. I'm definitely more of the classic era kind of player myself. But oh
yeah, you gotta go back to classic in like a month. You'll see.
Yeah, that's exactly how it always goes. I hop in for the new expansion. I play for like a few weeks, and then I'm like, I still have a subscription. I'm gonna go play classic. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. But no, this one's actually this one's fun. I'm enjoying it so far.
Warcraft 3 is good. I still like Warcraft 3.
Oh yeah, Warcraft games.
Reforged still. Yeah.
Yeah.
When's the game get about StarCraft 3?
Dude.
All right.
I feel bad that they just kind of abandoned StarCraft. Like they shouldn't. It's still a really high tier, like popular esport. Like why haven't they jumped on that? I don't understand. Like
same reason why they got rid of fucking Heroes of the Storm. It's not making enough money. You got too greedy, I guess.
Yeah, but you got to find a way to make it make money. Like that's the thing. Like you would think Activision would be like, all right, StarCraft 3, and we're gonna have 1 billion microtransactions, and you can pay us in all these different ways. Like you would think they do something. What
I want them to do is I want to finish their 3 sagas for World of Warcraft that they're planning. Then after that, they're like, all right, we're gonna do Warcraft 4, and we're gonna play that game for like several days, and then several years, and after that, we'll have World of Warcraft 2. And it's going to be like into the new engine and higher graphics and more animations and whatnot. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea to have like a Warcraft 4 be kind of like the prequel to a new era of WoW,
Yep.
That would be a good idea. It's a good way to do that.
Like I said before, it's like it should be like you play World of Warcraft, and we play World of Warcraft 4. And then when we get back to World of Warcraft 2, it's like 100 years later, and you get to see how everything evolved and stuff. And then you're going through the world, and you're finding out what happened to everybody.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, oh, yeah.
This is kind of getting a little deep into the lore, but I was really hoping that in Battle for Azeroth, which is one of the expansions, they had let's see. N'Zoth was the old god, and he's like manipulating everyone's minds and everything. I was really hoping that N'Zoth was basically going to take over the world, and that he had manipulated everyone's mind into, and then we woke up from like this nightmare dream or whatever, and it's like 100 years later, and now that's WoW 2. Because BFA, Battle for Azeroth, was a terrible expansion, and most people hated it, and so I thought this would be a good time for you guys to start over.
What I was hoping would happen in BFA was like we had the Allied races, and we were gonna do the whole war, and the Allied races are like, you guys are fucking crazy, and they would split off, and they would make a third faction, so it'd be a 3-faction war, which sounded really fun.
That would be cool, dude. A jailbroken Nintendo Wii. That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
man, the Wii is so nostalgic for me. Like, I remember playing I'd play Super Smash Bros with my cousins on that, and then Wii Sports and all that. There's so many videos on social media as you're scrolling, and then you hear like the Wii Sports sound. I'm like, oh my god, it's awesome. All right, what about you, Mike? What you playing or watching?
Diablo 4.
Yeah,
it's just pretty fun. I was like doing new tunes and making new builds and stuff like that. So
yeah,
been doing that a lot. Been watching. You guys seen The Warrior on Netflix? It was fun. Cinemax for our Max. It was a pretty good.
I don't watch anything.
No, what's
it's like
The
a
Warrior?
kung fu western kind of thing. It's like when the Chinese came to America and there was they were fighting in San Francisco. They're trying to get jobs and stuff like that. It's
okay,
pretty good. It's
like
pretty
San
good. Well
Francisco
done.
riots, like what's it called, the Boxcar riots, or is that?
Yeah,
that was all
like
in
that.
China.
Huh.
Anyway,
like
it's
that,
about when they came to America and how they had to fit in, and how like the Irish were really mad because the Chinese were taking all the jobs because they could work cheaper and stuff like that. But it's really well done. It's got a lot of fighting, which is nice, and it's a pretty good show.
Cool. What class are you playing on Diablo right now?
I mostly have sorcerers, but I just rebuild my barbarian build.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. There's a lot of like the whirling dervish and stuff like that, whirling and whirlwinds and dust winds and stuff like that. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Huh, that's cool. Sounds fun. It'd be fun to get back into sometime. I liked Diablo 4.
It's good. I mean, you got an hour to burn. It's good to get in there and just run some dungeons, and you don't got to put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
But then you get there and you're like, oh, I'll just do one more dungeon, and next time it's like 5 hours later, and you're like, oh,
you're like, wow, got me. Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good sign. That's a good game, though. So, all right.
You watching anime right now?
I'm not. No.
I've been. It's pretty good.
I've been hooked on. Well, one of the animes you suggested for me, it doesn't have a dub version, so I couldn't watch it. I was like,
I don't do dub anyway, so.
Yeah, no, I gotta do dub.
He does it so he can do other stuff, so he doesn't have to read while he's trying to do.
Yeah, I don't want to read.
Play World of Warcraft.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. If there's no dub, I wait till there's a dub, and then then I'll watch it.
Have you watched Ghost Stories yet?
Oh my God, no! I need to. That's on the Amazon Prime or something. I need to check that out. I saw it the other day, but then I didn't.
That is definitely dubbed. And the dub version is way better than the sub version.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's more popular for its dub than it is for its sub.
Yeah, that sounds really funny. Okay, well, I think we should wrap it up here, guys.
Yeah.
That was episode 25 on the Mystery of Easter Island. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button. Leave us a comment as well. What you guys think about Easter Island and how it fits into the whole big conspiracy theory that we've been crafting over these past 25 episodes. Let us know what you think about Easter Island or
witness protection. Thanks for chatting. You are VIP today.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for chatting too. We appreciate the conversation and all that. They should put Easter Island in Morrowind. Yes, they should. I'm not sure why they haven't. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably a mod for that out there. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in again. I appreciate it. Make sure to check out Ugly Chews as well. Check out our affiliate link in the description if you would like to get some nice all-natural treats for your doggos. I'm probably going to do that too.
Watch me play some World of Warcraft later at Toxic Grin Gengar.
Toxic Grin Gengar. Yep.
Yeah.
Check them out a little bit later, playing World of Warcraft. All right, guys.
Speaking of World of Warcraft.
We'll see ya. Have a great day.